Yes, let's go to Jeffrey Tucker, Editorial Director at the American Institute for Economic Research. He joins us from Great Barrington in Massachusetts. Jeffrey, always great to have your input on Money Talks. Now, the Fed didn't even go down this path, buying individual corporate bonds during the 2008 GFC. So how unusual is this move?
This is unprecedented. We've never seen anything like this. The Fed has now gone way outside the bounds of its mandate, outside of any practices that it's ever done, just straight up printing money and buying everything that it possibly can, from municipals to these corporate bonds. You know, we don't know what the effects of this are going to be. Some people think it could be highly inflationary down the line. I don't know. It depends on what happens over the next 6 months, but there could be a lot of distortions entered into the markets. I'm not sure that's going to cause more distortions than the lockdown. So it almost seems like for the American economy, it's been one blow after another, and I'm not optimistic that any aspect of the Fed's current policies are going to fix anything. It's probably just going to introduce even more distortions. And I can tell you this: every economist I know who follows the Fed is livid and fuming and furious about this, that they think this sets a crazy precedent where you have the Fed is essentially just becoming a major player in financial markets, not just managing the money, not just watching the money supply and prompting interest rates to do this or that, but becoming a major heavyweight player in the financial markets themselves. And it's a very dangerous and strange precedent we're setting here.
It's definitely going to be something I know we'll be talking to you about in the weeks and months ahead. US retail sales figures for May. Let's go there now. It beat expectations. A record 17.7% increase. What's behind that strong result?
Well, it's the end of cabin fever. I mean, people are just desperate to be out. But, Americans are not used to be locked down in their homes for 3 months. It was not supposed to be this way. It was supposed to be 2 weeks to flatten the curve. It went on to 3 months. People were going crazy. So right now, everybody's getting out and about. And don't forget, too, that Americans saved a lot of money over the last 3 months. And all the restaurants they didn't go to and the theater tickets they didn't spend and all the travel they didn't do. So people are ready to spend. So we're nowhere close to regaining the losses over the last 3 months, but the retail spending is very encouraging. Now, on the other hand, think about this. We have probably more than 100,000 businesses in the United States that have failed. It's been catastrophic, these lockdowns for American small businesses especially. So all these actions by the Fed, these big retail sales from big box stores and everything, that's not going to help small businesses come back. We've got a long way to go to regain business confidence before we can recapture that momentum we had back in February.
Well, it seems like money is burning a hole in President Trump's pocket. He looks set to announce $1 trillion in infrastructure spending. Is this all part of a pre-election strategy? Is he positioning himself as a nation builder, or do you think this is going to have real-world positive effects?
He's never cared anything about government spending or government debt. This is just the way he is. And now he's looking at his poll numbers, which are surprisingly bad right now. It's been very interesting. He's been almost invulnerable now since he got elected. And now the polls have switched. And what I think you're seeing is an administration that's really starting to get really, really worried about November. So that's what politicians do. They start throwing money around and that sort of thing. Whether or not it's going to help macroeconomic. Look, there's only one thing that's going to restore the U.S. economy right now, and it's not going to be the Fed. It's not going to be Congress. It's not going to be the president spending $1 trillion on this or that. It's going to be a complete emancipation of American business from all the restrictions. And there are so many restrictions still in place, and they're just completely crazy. Privately, epidemiologists have said that this epidemic is over already. You mentioned the surge. Hospitalizations have been falling dramatically ever since the April rules. So an increase in cases doesn't mean anything. We have to open up the economy, and it has to happen today. All the rest of this is just nonsense. And you're right to suspect that it's all about the getting reelected. Yeah.
Jeffrey Tucker, no one explains it and breaks things down quite like you do. Thank you again for your time here on Money Talks.
It's my pleasure as always.